New York City and the teams here in New York in an empire state of mind, the epicenter of the basketball universe, at least for the next 30 minutes. As we welcome you to the 2016 NBA Draft Lottery presented by State Farm. Ping pong balls starting to really pop as the luminaries continue to fill up the room. A couple of Kentucky Wildcats here. Mitch Kupchak, the general manager of the Los Angeles Lakers. Will they be able to hang on to their pick? It's got to be in the top three. And Brett Brown, the head coach of the Philadelphia 76ers, folks, he does have a certain Australian connection. Remember, Jay Bilas, he used to be the head coach of the Australian national team. Mark Jones alongside Jay Bilas back again. And Jay, as we look at your top five, there's a certain Australian that's at the top of your list, right?
Well, any top five, not just mine, is going to start with Ben Simmons and Brandon Ingram. Ben Simmons of LSU, 6'10", really an outstanding prospect that can do everything. He's a point forward, he can pass, he's an outstanding rebounder. Not quite the shooter that he needs to be, but number two on this list is Brandon Ingram, just barely 18 years old. He's got a 7'4" wingspan, an excellent defender, and can really shoot it from the perimeter, excellent in isolation. The top point guard prospect, Chris Dunn of Providence. Long, an elite defensive player in the NBA. And then Jamal Murray, the top guard scorer in this draft out of Kentucky. He's from Canada. And the number one international prospect, I think, Dragan Bender. He is a guy that can play power forward, center, got a lot of ability, a lot of potential down the line.
Yeah, a guy that plays for Jean Tabak, former NBA player from Maccabi Tel Aviv. Certainly a lot of talent at the top of the draft for sure. As for the rules of the NBA Draft Lottery, we'll take one more look. The lottery involving teams that did not qualify for this year's playoffs, as well as teams that traded for picks of non-playoff teams. Now, it's weighted so that the teams with the poorest records have the best chance of securing the top pick. The actual lottery drawing will determine only the top three picks in the draft. Picks 4 through 14 then fall to the remaining teams in reverse order of the regular season records. Now, earlier today, our own Heather Cox was granted special access to the room in which it all goes down.
Thanks, Mark. I'm here inside the room at the hotel where the actual lottery will take place this evening. Sequestered in this room will be one representative from each of the 14 teams participating in tonight's lottery. They'll be joined by NBA executives as well as officials from the accounting firm of Ernst & Young and 12 members of the national media. Now, once inside this room, no communication with the outside world. That means no cell phones, no internet, and certainly no tweeting. Here's how the process works. 14 ping pong balls with the numbers 1 through 14 are dropped in the machine. Then 4 numbers are randomly drawn to create that 4-digit combination. The team with the worst record is assigned the most 4-ball combinations, giving them the best chance to win. This year, it's the Philadelphia 76ers who have 250 of the possible 1,000 combinations. Once the numbers are drawn, that 4-digit number is matched to the board to see which team has the number 1 pick. The process is then repeated for the second and third picks. Now, what's interesting to note is depending on who gets into the top 3 picks, certain teams might have an immediate right to make a swap with the teams in the top 3. So representatives in the room tonight might have a lot more on their mind than hoping that their number gets called. Mark?
Oh, the winning numbers last year were 1, 3, 7, and 6. And hey, folks, this was the scene, well, about an hour ago. Some of the team reps getting ready for the drawing where the official lottery actually takes place. You see them being sequestered, taking their phones away. Owner of the Boston Celtics, Wyc Grousbeck, amongst many inside that room where the lottery actually was done a little over an hour ago. Imagine people doing without their phones for an hour when, as Heather mentioned, an unusual amount of trades affecting this year's lottery. The Philadelphia 76ers have the best odds for the number 1 pick at 26.9%. As a result, not only of their 250 ping pong balls, but also the possibility of acquiring the first pick from Sacramento, who they have a right to swap picks with if the Kings pick is higher. You follow. 76ers could also end up with the Lakers pick if it were to fall out of the top 3. You follow. So, as you look at all of the probabilities of the teams involved, note the multiple trade scenarios that are in play tonight. Jay Bilas, we saw your top 5 at the top, Ingram and Simmons. What makes those two guys unique and really kind of the prize of this draft?
Well, they're both big guys. They're both tall and they're long and they're multi-skilled, starting with Ben Simmons, who is really a point guard in his skill level, an excellent passer, excellent handle. To say he's highly skilled is an understatement. Really a point forward, and he's an excellent rebounder. Averaged about 12 rebounds per game at LSU. That led the Southeastern Conference. He rebounds on both ends of the floor, goes after it with 2 hands, and he can really get to the basket. Because of his handling ability, how skilled he is, he's not a great shooter, but still you play off him, he can still get past you and average about 20 points per game. Ingram is younger. He's barely 18 years old. He's got a 7'4" wingspan. He's an excellent defender. He can protect the rim. He can get out on the perimeter and bother shots and block shots as a perimeter shot blocker. I think he's a little bit ahead of Ben Simmons as a defender, especially off the ball. And he's an excellent perimeter shooter, both catch and shoot to 3-point range. He can put the ball on the deck. He's got an excellent feel, and you can put him in isolation. Duke put him in a lot of isolation situations last year where he could go one-on-one, usually on the left side of the floor. Because of his shooting ability, he's got that shot credibility. He can go by you and finish at the rim. We're talking about 2 elite prospects, just a little bit different because one's a better shooter, the other's a better passer rebounder.
Yeah, interesting contrast. Ben Simmons elected not to be here tonight, but Heather Cox, Brandon Ingram told me he's consuming about 5,000 calories a day to pack some weight on. That makes him a member of the media.
That sounds absolutely heavenly. Brandon, it's hard to believe, especially after watching you play, that just 2 years ago, you weren't even considered a top 20 high school recruit. So how have you developed in the time since then to potentially becoming a top 5 pick?
I think since that standpoint, I worked very hard. I know my junior year, my senior year, I worked hard to get noticed, and I just kept my confidence up. I knew I was going to get seen, and I had the right people behind me to put me in the right spots.
Other than eating nonstop, what do you plan to do between now and June to really prove to NBA teams that your body can withstand the rigors of an NBA season?
Just continue to work on my weaknesses. Just be in the gym day in and day out, and hopefully get these teams to get a good feel for me.
Best of luck. Enjoy tonight, and we look forward to seeing you in June at the draft. Mark, back to you.
All right, thanks a lot, Heather. Jay, we talked about your 1 through 5. Who are the next group from 6 to 10 on your list?
Well, the next 5, you've got 3 freshmen that are in that 5, and also 3 big guys. You've got some low post players. Henry Ellickson, an excellent prospect from Marquette, just a freshman. I think the most intriguing is Buddy Hield, a senior, the Wooden Award winner, is National Player of the Year, averaged 25 points per game for Lon Kruger at Oklahoma. He's one of those rare players that is a senior that could have easily been put in the top 5 on this best available list. And Buddy Hield had a magnificent year. He kept getting better and better. And if you go, he's an old school player. If you go old school, you know, years ago we didn't talk about a player being done in his development at age 22 or 23. And Buddy Hield's going to continue to get better.
Yeah, great to see his development. There's going to be a big party, Heather, across the tiny island in the Caribbean, the Bahamas, when he gets drafted.
All right, thanks so much, Mark. Buddy, you've talked quite a bit about the inspiration that you've gotten from Kobe Bryant. In fact, Kobe came to watch you play in your Elite 8 NCAA tournament game. What advice have you gotten from him that can help you in this next chapter?
Just stay mentally focused and just be yourself and just do what you do.
You decided to take another year and play at Oklahoma when you could have been probably a top pick in last year's draft. How do you think that extra year has helped prepare you for this?
Just helped me to be a better player, better person on and off the court, and just helped me to develop my game a lot. And my coaches pick up film and work on my weaknesses, so I used that to get better.
Some have said that you are the next Steph Curry in terms of your three-point shot, which high praise. So, okay, I won't say that, but where did that shooting touch come from?
I just work in the gym, a lot of reps. I put up tons of shots, a lot of mentally drills, shooting about 15 shots, I don't know. Just a lot of times in the drills, and that's me and myself and just being locked in and listening to my reggae music.
Reggae is always good. It's been a pleasure watching you play in college. Looking forward to watching you at the next level. Mark?
Got his degree this past weekend, too. Meanwhile, the #1 pick in 2011, Kyrie Irving and the Cavaliers taking on the Raptors in Game 1 right after this.
The NBA Draft Lottery is presented by State Farm. We exist to assist. And in part by Applebee's new wood-fired grills. Welcome back to the NBA Draft Lottery, presented by State Farm.
DeMar DeRozan of the Toronto Raptors getting ready to take the court in Game 1 of the Eastern Conference Finals. DeRozan, the 9th pick in 2009. And don't forget, tonight after the Raptors-Cavs Game 1. Stick around for SportsCenter at Night with Steve Levy and John Anderson. He'll be live from the court in Cleveland with all the highlights and a complete breakdown of the game. SportsCenter at Night after the game right here on ESPN. Well, not the best of times if you're a Laker fan, folks. Of course, Kobe retiring after 20 years, a huge void in his wake. The team has now missed the playoffs for 3 consecutive seasons. Byron Scott fired after the season after serving as head coach for 2 of those 3 years. And then Luke Walton was hired as his replacement. Walton going to finish off the playoffs with Golden State, then join the Lakers, hope to bring down some of that offensive magic down the coast. And finally, the Lakers have just under a 20% chance to obtain the #1 overall pick tonight. However, if they slid out of the top 3, that would be bad news. Their pick would go to the Philadelphia 76ers. We are joined once again by Tom Penn, former front office executive. Tom, how does this pick impact the Lakers rebuild?
Well, it's front and center in the rebuild. Look at what they have. Julius Randle, Russell, Clarkson as the youngs. Kobe's 60 points is gone, but here he is with 60 million cap room in replacement. It comes back to this. Mark, they can lose the pick. If it's not top 3, it's gone. So let's at least not go to that. Let's assume they have it. What are they going to do? They'd have the 32nd pick, and then they'd have one of the prizes. If they can get it and go top 2, it's going to be Simmons, or would it be Ingram? Take your pick. It's one of these 2 guys, and it'd be a person for them to build around for the future, a pillar to grow, or do they trade the pick for a veteran and then go get $40 million worth of free agents? They need a quick rebuild here in Los Angeles, but they got to keep that pick tonight. They have to.
Well, they've got their fingers crossed. Thanks a lot, Tom. And Mitch Kupchak right there, the general manager of the Los Angeles Lakers, with one of the best poker faces that you will ever see. Let's go over to Heather to meet the representatives from our 14 teams. Heather?
Mark, thank you so much. And to each of you, welcome to New York and best of luck tonight. Now let's get to the introductions. Please welcome from the Chicago Bulls, Jimmy Butler. And from the Wizards, Vice President Zach Leonsis. Here from the Utah Jazz, Team President Steve Starks. And from the Orlando Magic, General Manager Rob Hennigan. Now please welcome Milwaukee Bucks head coach Jason Kidd. And Denver Nuggets head coach Michael Malone. Welcome from the Sacramento Kings, center Willie Cauley-Stein. And from the Toronto Raptors, taking one for the team by not being at tonight's game, General Manager Masai Ujiri. Please welcome from the Pelicans, head coach Alvin Gentry. And from the Minnesota Timberwolves, center Karl Anthony Towns. And congratulations, you were just chosen as unanimous Rookie of the Year. What was the best thing about your first season in the league?
Just the excitement, all the excitement that came with it, being able to play against the best of the best in the world every single night. Doesn't get better than that.
And tonight you're wearing a very special good luck charm. Can you tell us a little bit more about it?
Yeah, right here is Flip Saunders' wedding band, so keep this very close to me. Hopefully it brings the great luck we need tonight.
And wonderful that you donated your Rookie of the Year award in Flip's honor. Thank you. And now please welcome Phoenix Suns guard Devin Booker, who is joined by Suns superfan Jenna Warren. Welcome, Jenna. From the Boston Celtics, guard Isaiah Thomas. And from the Los Angeles Lakers, general manager Mitch Kupchak. Now, Mitch, you keep the pick if it's in the top 3. If it's out of the top 3, it goes to the man next to you, Sixers coach Brett Brown. How important are these next few minutes to your franchise?
Well, we obviously love to have the pick. We've planned as if we would not have the pick, and there's no other way to plan until you know you're going to get the pick. So it'd be great to get the pick. If we don't get the pick, we'll get the pick next year. And I wish everybody luck here tonight.
Mitch, thank you. And the man that we just mentioned, Philadelphia 76ers head coach Brett Brown. And Brett, the team has certainly suffered through some lean times in the last few years. In your opinion, where are the 76ers in the rebuilding process?
I think we're at a stage where we're now going to jump into a new era. I feel that when you look at the resources that we have with our current players, Dario Saric, Joel Embiid, and the excitement that we're going to experience tonight with potential multiple picks, that we're going to be in good shape.
Brett, thanks so much. And thanks to all of you. Best of luck tonight. Enjoy it. Mark?
All right, thanks a lot, Heather. A big contingent from Philadelphia in the room tonight. And it's almost time for what we've all been waiting for, under escort by Senior Vice President and Chief Security Officer Jerome Pickett. Here's the only person in our studio who knows the results. Denise Pelley from the accounting firm of Ernst & Young, who is delivering the sealed envelopes to the stage. We'll find out the fate of each of the 14 teams when we return to New York. Stick around.
You're watching the NBA Draft Lottery, presented by State Farm.
And welcome back, everyone, to New York. Don't forget, immediately following the draft lottery, LeBron James, the number 1 pick back in 2003. And the Cavaliers try to remain picture perfect in the playoffs. They're 8-0 so far. They'll try and slam home the Toronto Raptors in Game 1. Well, one last look, folks, at the probabilities of each team winning the number 1 overall pick. A reminder that the 76ers have the best chance to walk away with the number 1 pick tonight. Now, they could also get the Lakers pick if it were to fall outside of the top 3, okay? They're among several trade conditions, too, as you can see, that could dramatically affect the landscape of the draft order. So much intrigue tonight. And now the time has finally come. Here's NBA Deputy Commissioner Mark Tatum to reveal the final order for the teams at the top of the 2016 NBA Draft. Mark?
Thank you, Mark. Good luck, everyone. The 14th pick goes to the Chicago Bulls.
This is Chicago's first time in the lottery since 2008 when they selected Derrick Rose, number 1.
Pick number 13 will be made by the Phoenix Suns.
This pick was Washington's, but because it is not in the top 9, it goes to Phoenix.
The 12th pick belongs to the Utah Jazz.
Utah's made 6 lottery picks since 2010 after having just 3 in the first 25 years of the lottery.
Picking 11th will be the Orlando Magic.
Orlando has increased their win total in each of the last 3 seasons, and folks still holding the form.
The 10th pick in the draft will go to the Milwaukee Bucks.
Milwaukee is tied with Philadelphia and Utah as the youngest teams in the NBA, just under 25 years old.
Pick number 9 will be made by the Toronto Raptors.
This pick was the lower of either Denver's or New York's picks due to trade considerations. No changes yet.
The 8th pick goes to the Sacramento Kings.
Now, Sacramento will keep their pick. Had it fallen outside of the top 10, it would have gone to Chicago.
The 7th pick will be made by the Denver Nuggets.
This pick was the higher of Denver's or New York's picks due to trade considerations.
Pick number 6 belongs to the New Orleans Pelicans.
Anthony Davis was the only player to average more than 20 points, 10 boards, and 2 blocks a game this season.
Pick number 5 goes to the Minnesota Timberwolves.
Karl Anthony Towns here tonight. You saw him, led all rookies with 18.3 points, 10.5 boards, while shooting 54%. Still no changes in the order.
And the 4th pick in the 2016 NBA Draft goes to the Phoenix Suns.
Wow. So Phoenix will have 2 lottery picks, as they also own Washington's pick. And then there were just 3 remaining teams. The Boston Celtics, represented by Isaiah Thomas, still with a shot at the number 1. Los Angeles Lakers, looking for a little magic to happen tonight. And the Philadelphia 76ers, looking for their first number 1 pick since '96. We'll find out who has the number 1 selection when we come back.
The NBA Draft Lottery is presented by State Farm. We exist to assist.
Welcome back, everyone, to New York. Don't forget, that after this, it's game one of the Eastern Conference Finals. Kyle Lowry came up clutch in game 7 recently against the Heat with a 30-point plus game to clinch the victory. And we are down to the final 3 back here at the NBA's Draft Lottery. Brett Brown representing the 76ers looking to select number 1 for just the 3rd time in franchise history, continuing to rebuild that franchise. Mitch Kupchak, good news for the Lakers. They will hang on to their top pick. They did not fall out of the top 3. And Isaiah Thomas hoping that the Celtics will choose number 1 for the first time in the franchise's history. As we go once again to Deputy Commissioner Mark Tatum. Mark?
Thanks again, Mark. The 3rd pick in this year's draft goes to the Boston Celtics. The 2nd pick will be made by the Los Angeles Lakers, and that means that the number 1 pick in the 2016 NBA Draft goes to the Philadelphia 76ers.
So for tonight, and hopefully beyond, there will be joy in Philadelphia as the 76ers get the number 1 pick after the long suffering, after the hardship, after the angst and the anxious moments over the several years. They'll get the number 1 pick here and continue to put it back together. Here's a look at the final draft order. The Lakers keep their pick as we go back to Heather Cox, who's standing by with Brett Brown.
A very happy Brett Brown indeed. Coach, congratulations. How can you quantify the type of impact this number 1 pick can have on your franchise?
I mean, my immediate thoughts go straight to the city of Philadelphia. They have been amazing. Our true fans, the city, have been amazing allowing us to go through the process that we have. We've taken hits for 3 seasons. We're excited with the position that we are now in. I love some of my current players. We think we can grow them. We believe that with our multiple draft picks and the news that we have tonight, as I mentioned earlier, I got a real belief in Joel Embiid. We got real faith in Dario Saric, and I'm thrilled for our city and the fans of Philadelphia.
Congratulations. And the last time the Sixers had that number 1 pick, Allen Iverson, guys, in '96. That worked out pretty well. Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah, sure did. Heather, Embiid is yet to play for the 76ers. He's still getting healthy. Saric still playing overseas. Jay, some final thoughts on what this number 1 pick means in perspective for the 76ers.
Well, for Philadelphia, they've got a great choice to make between Brandon Ingram of Duke and Ben Simmons of LSU. If you take a look at these 2 players, I mean, they're both outstanding prospects and both have a ton to offer. Ben Simmons has an NBA body, he's NBA ready physically right now. An amazing handle, a great passer, an outstanding rebounder. Not quite a shooter yet, but Brandon Ingram has the complete package as well. He can really shoot it, an excellent defender, not quite the passer or handler or rebounder that Ben Simmons is. But the easiest pick is probably the Lakers. They take either one of these 2 that is not taken by Philadelphia. That's pretty easy to do.
Yeah, it takes a little bit of the heat off them. And if Simmons does go number 1, he'll be the first player number 1 since a guy named Shaquille O'Neal, folks. Well, that's all from New York City here in the ballroom at the Hilton. Now that the results have been revealed, for an exclusive look at the actual drawing, that's right, go to the NBA app or NBA.com or the NBA's Facebook page. The 76ers have won the first pick of the 2016 NBA Draft. Right now, we're going to send it out to Mike Breen in Cleveland for Game 1 of the Eastern Conference Finals.